We're here today looking at Vaikobi vests. They got 2 models in the lineup. Nope, that's not true. Taking a look specifically at their V4 Racing Downwind vest and the VXP, 2 of the most popular models. We've been carrying these vests for a while now. If you're in Bellingham, I'm sure you've seen a lot of these out on the water. I know they're popular elsewhere as well. Companies out of Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And they make all sorts of good paddling, water sports, gear, wetsuits, vests, you name it. But the vests have been really popular, so we just want to do a rundown on these 2 in particular, and how they're the same, how they differ.
Yeah.
So you've got the VXP on.
Yeah, I have the VXP myself, and I really like it. I think when you just look at like the vests, just generally speaking, they're very similar. The most noticeable difference is the point of entry. So Riley's got the V4 on, that's a front zip, whereas this one is the side entry. So it's just 2 buckles here to take on and off. I think when I got mine, I chose it because it had a really big front pocket, and it was before some recent updates to the new Ocean Performance vest, but it allowed me to stow a marine radio pretty efficiently. So I was stoked on that, and that's the main reason I got it, using it for foiling, and sometimes I'll toss in like neoprene gloves if I'm not sure I'm gonna need it and whatnot.
Yeah, both pretty similar in terms of outline, both highly adjustable. I think, people can often get away with a pretty wide size range in these. Like, I think you're wearing a small or an extra small.
Extra small, yeah.
You do sacrifice a little flotation if you go down in size, but because they're so adjustable, people are often able to go with a smaller vest than they might otherwise go with.
Yeah.
So a little lower profile.
Yeah, I think that's something where in the paddling community, it is super popular to size down 1 or maybe even 2 sizes from what you'd typically wear in a t-shirt. I'm wearing an extra small. I'm wearing a large t-shirt, but I can easily fit on extra small. I could even tighten it more or loosen it up if I was a bigger person. They have a ton of adjustability. So as you can see, like, there's so much to work with. You can even adjust up here. So what you're really is changing is the surface area of the vest itself. That's going to equate to flotation too, so that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I think pocket layout is another place where they differ. This one zips down the middle, so it's got the 2 pockets. They've got a good bit of room for expansion here. The pockets are significantly larger than they were on the V3, which I really appreciate. Ethan mentioned the marine walkie. It's a little tricky to get into this pocket, but it does fit really nicely in there. One thing to note with sizing on the V4 specifically is that as you size down, the pockets do get smaller as well. So, if you're kind of on the fence, do I go small, do I go medium, you might want to size up in this vest, whereas in the VXP, you don't have that constraint. For me, this is a large vest, and I could probably go small through large on this, but I'd probably opt for the larger, just to get that added pocket capacity.
But if you're a racing paddler, you might be a little more efficient, a little sleeker, smaller. I took mine off to show. They both have the same big back pocket here on the back, and that is typically going to be used for... Oh, I've got it, dude.
You got it? Yeah. All right, I'll go back over here.
But big pocket on the back, that's just for their water bladder. You can use this if you already have one, as long as it's a 1.5 liter Camelback or whatever sort of hydration bladder. That'll work just fine. and you can actually run the bladder through these top loops here on the shoulders of the vest, and
yeah,
here too.
They did just this year, along with the V4 release, they also released 2 new water bladders, one for each vest specifically. So they've got one for the VXP that perfectly fits that front pocket.
I think it's 1,000 milliliters. It's a 1 liter.
1 liter. It's 1 liter. And then they've got this little guy. It's a ½ liter that'll fit perfectly in the pocket of the V4 as well. And both of those have a hose that can be easily routed up and kind of stowed out of the way as you're paddling or winging or whatever you're doing. So in addition to being super comfortable and super adjustable, they're also really bright, which is nice if you ever are in an emergency scenario, like where you might actually need one of these.
Yeah.
So we got a couple colors here.
Yeah, I think it's also worth noting that these vests are super popular in the paddling community, whether it's surf skiing or paddleboarding, but just a lot of other sports where you might be alone doing an individual sport far off the shore. So if it's wing foiling or downwind foiling, and that's where being visible is really important.
Yep. The Coast Guard appreciates it.
Yeah.
And you'll be more visible if they're in a boat or if they're in the air.
Yeah.
They'll see you.
You look good.
Yeah.
In a Vaikobi life jacket.
Anyway, if you have any questions, leave us a comment below. Give us a call at the shop. Smash that like button, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.